I spent almost a decade avoiding my parents. Not because of one big fight, but because of 1,000 small ones that stacked up like bricks in a wall. By 25, I told myself I was done. By 35, I almost believed it. Growing up, my father was strict. Rules were ironclad, punishments swift. My mother tried to soften him, but she carried her own sharp edges. I was the kid who never felt good enough. An A- was, why not an A? A college acceptance was met with, can you afford it? Even my wedding, years later, was overshadowed by their complaints about the guest list. So I pulled away. At first, it was subtle, shorter phone calls, fewer visits. Then it became distance measured in silence. Birthdays passed without calls. Holidays without invitations. Eventually, we stopped pretending. I built my own life, and they stayed in theirs. But estrangement doesn't erase love. It just buries it under hurt. Some nights, lying awake, I wondered if they thought of me. If they regretted the way things had gone. I told myself I didn't care. But I did. The turning point came when my sister called. Dad had a heart scare, she said. He's okay, but, you should know. I sat in the kitchen after that call, staring at the wall. For years I'd been rehearsing anger, sharpening it like a blade. But hearing those words, heart scare, made the blade feel useless. Suddenly, all I saw was time slipping away. A week later, I drove back to my hometown. The roads felt both familiar and foreign. Pulling into the driveway of the house I grew up in, I nearly turned around. But then the door opened, and there they were, older, smaller somehow, but still my parents. The first words out of my mouth weren't profound. Just, "Hi, Mom." "Hi, Dad." My mother started crying before she even hugged me. My father stood stiffly, then put a hand on my shoulder. "It's been a while," he said. His voice cracked on the last word. That night, we sat around the old kitchen table. It creaked in the same spot it always had. Conversation was halting at first, updates about work, about my kids, about their health. But slowly, the dam broke. My mother apologized for being too hard on me. My father admitted he didn't know how to express pride without it sounding like criticism. And I apologized too, for the silence, for the years lost, for assuming they'd never change. It wasn't a magical fix. Years of pain don't vanish in a single evening. But something shifted. The wall we'd built between us began to crumble, brick by brick. Now, months later, I visit every Sunday. My kids know their grandparents again. My father tells them stories he never told me. My mother bakes pies with my daughter, flour dusting her hands. Sometimes I catch my parents looking at me with something unspoken in their eyes, regret, maybe, but also love. And I realize they were always human, flawed and struggling, just like me. Reconciliation isn't perfect. It's messy. But it's real. And for the first time in years, when I pull into that driveway, I don't feel like a stranger. I feel like I've come back home.